over at MSNBC, they're suffering with declining ratings, like the worst they've ever seen. Same thing at CNN, actually. But at MSNBC, they're down like 51% from the day the election happened. I want you to see a before and after with Joe and Mika, because this is their signature morning show over on MSNBC, hosted by Joe Scarborough and his wife. Yeah, his wife. Okay, she wasn't his wife, but apparently they had a little thingy too. I mean, it's all like, you hate Trump and all of a sudden romance in the air. So Joe and Mika went down to Mar-A-Lago to try to grovel, shall we say, with the president-elect, and say, oh, we didn't really mean all that bad stuff that we said, even though we said a lot of bad stuff. And I was going to say, you know what? These people are about the bottom line and the ka-ching. Like, they're no different than Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion was for sale. Joe and Mika are for sale. A case in point. Take a look at this.
And then he says that the news network that...
This is incidentally just a few weeks before the election, Joe and Mika going on and on about how terrible Trump is.
That is most critical of him should be taken off the air. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
Whoa! Okay, so if you like Trump, if you voted for Trump, you're stupid, you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them.
For the past week.
That was before they decided to go down. There was this little number too. Grifter in chief, Joe Scarborough, just weeks ahead of the election, speaking to another grifter over on MSNBC, one Al Sharpton, Reverend Al Sharpton, who allegedly got $500,000 for his organization just weeks before he sat down with Kamala Harris for an MSNBC interview. Unbelievable.
She gets sick and tired of me trying to understand other people and being so pragmatic and trying to be like, I'm okay, you're okay. Now, where can we meet in the middle? La, la, la. On this question, we're past that. You can't meet. If they voted for Trump in 16, whatever. They voted for Trump in 20, they knew exactly what they were doing. If they vote for Donald Trump in 2024, and I've said it on my show, I'll say it here, they're knowingly voting for a fascist. They're voting for a racist. They're voting for somebody that wants to put this country 200 years in the back. And so I'm not trying to figure them out. I'm trying to figure out how we get people out who love democracy, who love freedom, who love the rights of all Americans, how to get them to the voting booth. Because that's how we save our country.
Ooh, Joe, you're the man. What a journalist you are. Wow. Okay, so he's making the case that Donald Trump is all that bad. And you know what? If you voted for him, we can't forgive you for it, because there's no way, there's no there. They're like, it's all or nothing. And yet then we saw Joe and Mika, their hat in hand, going to Mar-A-Lago.
And then he says that the news
network... so this is the old one. Let's show you the new one.
To regular citizens deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-A-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators.
I mean, honestly, it's like they think they're negotiating with North Korea or something. I mean, they are so unbelievably full of themselves. She's going to go to the enemy lines like she's some kind of, Secretary of State. I'm sorry. This is all about one thing and one thing only, okay? This is about Mika and Joe knowing that MSNBC is about to be sold. It happened October 31st. Go back to the earnings call. Mike Kavanagh, who runs the place, said, guess what? We want to sell our cable networks. We want to spin them off after the election. Here we are after the election. So he just revealed this days before, of course, the big day. And then it turned out that they want to not only sell off MSNBC, but also Oprah's network, Oxygen as well. The only thing they're going to keep is the streaming network because streaming's where it's at. Remember, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. I'm going to go to your comments momentarily. But listen, that's the reality of where we are. So they're going to keep the network. They want to get rid of everything else, and they want to package it, and they want to be able to spin it off. So Brian Roberts, who runs Comcast owns NBC Universal. NBC Universal owns MSNBC. Brian's like, why are the inmates running the asylum? I mean, I got crazy Joy Reid. I got these grifters, Joe and Mika. Can we not clean this thing up so that we can actually make a sale and maybe I can get some profit? Good luck, buddy. I don't think you're going to get very much. And you know why? Disney can't sell ABC. I mean, Bob Iger would love to sell that pup. Like, he's dying to get rid of The View and ABC News. And he can't. So what makes you think anybody really wants MSNBC? I don't think anybody wants it. But you know what I will tell you? Joe and Mika are very mindful of where their paycheck comes from. And Joe is a politician after all. Because you say to yourself, how could they say all those horrible things about Donald Trump and then show up hat in hand at Mar-A-Lago and say, oh, let's mend things. Let's have a dialogue. Let's find places where we can actually agree on stuff. Well, it's for one reason and one reason only. Their ratings are tanking. So one, they're losing viewers. Two, they're going to get sold. And what is the new buyer going to do? I think this happens regardless of whether they patch it up with Trump or not. I mean, Trump may actually help their ratings just a tad, but I think this happens. The new buyer is going to fire them. Same as the new buyer is going to fire Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar at The View. You know who else is going to get fired and may actually get fired before the sale of MSNBC? Joy Behar. The other Joy. Forgive me. I'm getting my Joys mixed up. The other Joy, the really not so, neither one of them have much joy in them, right? But the other not so nice Joy, who's just been rabidly out there ever since Donald Trump won. In fact, she's even saying that you shouldn't bother having Thanksgiving holidays with your family members if in fact they voted for Trump, because, we can't forgive those people. That's exactly who Brian Roberts and Mike Kavanagh, who runs NBC, wants to fire right now, because they're not going to be able to sell this sucker. Nope, not with that kind of legacy going on. So they got to get rid of Joy. And Mika and Joe are desperately trying to hang on to their jobs because, people are losing their jobs these days. Lots of people are losing their jobs these days.